2 weeks ago, and that went really well. And then I went to one earlier last week on Tuesday at one at UW. The mayor was there, and she was like congratulating me and stuff. She's cool. Mayor Wooders is cool. She's chilling. And then there's one I'm going to today. Not today. Saturday. I don't know where it is yet, but I know someone emailed me about being somewhere. Yeah, I'll go to that. It's somewhere in Tacoma. I'll go to that one and speak. Yeah, it's been a wild ride. But I'm just, it's not about me. So, like when I speak up on the aspect of racism, it is hot in my heart. I'm just gonna. Yeah, when speaking, honestly, I mean, speaking about peace, it isn't about me either. But I do run a business. But speaking up in regards to the death of George Floyd and this new movement, yes, I'm coming as the person who rides the peace bus or drives it, but I'm not speaking on behalf of the peace bus, if that makes any sense. Like, it doesn't, like, I'm not promoting my business. It ain't even about that. It's about raising awareness to what's going on. And it's been a new way of speaking for me. Like, I'm pretty confident when it comes to speaking in front of people, but this has been a different mode. It's been a different avenue that I have never got on a stage to talk about dismantling the institution of racism, and that's the topic. And so, and it's everyone's looking at this now. So we have to, everyone, not including myself, everyone has to talk about this now and use this as a way to streamline all these different changes we need. Because knowing how the media is and knowing how America is, a month from now, it could be completely like everyone's minds on something else. So if that's the case, let's do what we can now and make moves and strides towards equality, you know.
So that's what you mean by it's not about you meaning your business. I thought you meant you as a person. Like, this is a lot to do with you. Like,
oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking about? Yes.
You're tripping. Yeah.
That's definitely. Like, no. And how have you been doing? Thoughts, feelings that you may want to share, just being a Black man in all of this.
Oh, okay. So when I started seeing people rallying together, it was a multifaceted, sense of feelings in my brain. So first of all, I was feeling very, very uplifted to know that people that don't look like me were fighting on my behalf. And to know that everyone is concerned about my well-being, which they haven't been before, or not as much, I'd say. I was getting messages from friends being like, hey, how you doing? And even there was a gentleman, I won't say his name, but there was a gentleman that I grew up with I was friends with. And one day we're at his house and we're kicking it like we always do. And he was like, we were talking about when we get older and we have kids, and how we would be really protective of our daughters, right? And he was like, well, I would never let my daughter date a Black guy, that's for sure. And I was like, what? Yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna go home. And he tried to apologize and explaining himself. I was like, nah, dude, I'm done. And I haven't been friends with the guy since. But he texted me. He was like, hey, just checking up on you. I've been seeing what's been going on. Just want to let you know that I support what's the Black Lives Matters movement and what you're doing and what you're saying. And I didn't respond back. That is what it is. But it spoke certain volumes to me that someone who has said something like that at one point, blatant racism, is now speaking to me and acknowledging that there needs to be change done. Yeah. Which is really interesting. So there was that. There was also this sense of, I don't even know if this is a word, falsivity. I'm creating it, but falsification in the sense of like, are people truly concerned? Yeah. Like, is this really is it a trend? Is this something that you can put on your Instagram story? Or is this truly change for the betterment of Black folks?
Right.
And so I'm still in this sort of inquisitive stage where I'm scratching my head and being like, okay, when is this ride gonna stop? Or are we in this for the long haul?
Yeah.
And then those who are fighting for our rights that aren't people of color, how much stamina do you have?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's this race is long and arduous. It's not ending anytime soon. If we're really looking towards ending racism, we're talking about 100 years.
Yeah.
150 years of this kind of work we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my one of my concerns that's been in my head. I've been right now I'm not stressed, but I had been stressed with the trying to formulate my words right for certain interviews and things like that, making sure I was on top of everything. I had before my speech or whatnot on King 5 News, I had advisors. I had people advising me on what to say and how to giving me more knowledge about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't necessarily a strong proponent of the Black Lives Matter movement. Yes, of course, I'm against racism, but before that, I hadn't gone to rallies or anything like this, and so I had people from that sect reach out to me and talk to me about what's going on, and so that was stressful. But that's the thing, ignorance is bliss. You learn more about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's just more weight on the chest.
Mm-hmm.
But it's good. It's good to know.
Yeah, you're
So
still relatable. Not every single Black person knows everything about everything that's going on. And
correct.
so you would still be relatable either way it goes. There's no way you're going to appeal to every single person, say everything exactly right. And so just know that you're giving yourself to everyone. And people will pick you apart. It sucks. It's dumb. But so what? So what? You're doing it, it's for a good cause. It's for the people, all people, like you were saying. And so there are going to be those to pick it apart, just like when they pick apart the BLM movement or cops this, or it's like, do you want to find something to argue about? Like, you want to be inclusive, but it's being divisive at the same time. And I don't think people understand that.
Yeah. And what we're trying to do is unite. That's the goal. And in order for that to happen, these people who are doing the bickering and arguing for arguing's sake, we're going to need them to calm down. If we really want change, what we're going to need is we're going to need white Americans to listen to African Americans and truly listen towards change, right? Not listening just to be like, okay, we're listening, we're giving you a stage to speak. Now we're going to go home and just watch TV. It needs to be a listening, and then we're going to use our privilege in order to dismantle the things that allow us to be on the stage and use our platforms and our privilege in order to help you become. Because what's been happening because of racism is just preventing people, like I was saying before, towards reaching their potential. Right. And that's what's in our Constitution. Thomas Jefferson said life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So if this is granted to everyone, the most American thing you can do, we have patriots saying, we love America. The most patriotic thing you can do is to help each and every American have a means towards reaching those. That's, if you want to talk about the founding fathers, do that. Be that American who helps people to be able to achieve those things. And so
I think it's hard for a lot of white folks to hear it because they may seem like they're being attacked, or it's not a real thing because they're in this white group, but it's not necessarily picking them out individually. So when you're trying to have a conversation, they're uncomfortable. And so they're not really hearing everything that, for me, that I'm saying per se. And then it's like, okay, I want to be there. I want to help you. I support you. But from behind the scenes, I'm going to do it back here. But then what is that going to do? We need you who also appear. That's the change. It's not you tell me and then I do it, or I understand you. Like, it's collective. The white folks need to hear other white folks. And that's a lot of time where I think some of the change will come from too. Because if you hear it from us just from the back and you're not doing the work, how is that even going to get done? Like you and I, like the problem, I can't fix it. It's not my problem. So
Yeah.
talking to me about the problem, yes, it's great, open for discussion. However, can you take that to your friends without feeling like you're going to piss them off or be defriended or anything like that? So it's almost like, are you playing two sides? Like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm over here, I'm helping you, or over there. Go ahead. Oh, you got something, go.
Yeah. Well, we're not fighting. This isn't against white folks.
Mm-hmm.
We're not fighting white people. We're fighting racism. And this involves everyone to dismantle. Yes, now, if you are white, you have privilege from racism, but that doesn't mean you can't fight it. And that your means towards helping fight it is huge. It's vital, and it's what's needed. So if we can sort of convey that towards people, no, it's not you specifically, it's the institution of racism that we have to dismantle. And I feel that maybe that can help take the burden off of folks. I see it too. I see people feeling that burden, and I'm like, that's not yours to carry. Like, we need your help. So,
yes, when it's like, no apologies needed. As far as that, it's not you individually.
Oh
like,
my gosh, I've been seeing that. Like people like apologize. I've been going to certain events, and maybe like a white person will get on stage and be like, "Hey, I was wondering if everyone here in the crowd can come together and really." I want to say sorry for my ancestors, and I can get an apology. And I'm like, dude, this is not the time and place. This isn't right. We don't need this. What we need is for you to, whatever you have, the platform that you have, or if you know anyone who has the means towards creating this change, to talk and have a conversation. Your friends, when you have the barbecue and the cookout, to sit down with them and talk about the institution of racism and how are you guys going to work towards dismantling it. That's actually going to do some good.
What advice do you have for those that are afraid to do that because of tensions or families splitting up, or if they have white people in their family who are blindsided, who are on that, that wall, the barrier? How would they have that conversation? Because that's where a lot of the fear is, I feel, and why a lot of those conversations aren't happening.
Okay, so there's, when it comes to activism, I wouldn't consider myself an activist. I'm a peace campaigner, but we'll talk about activism real quick. So in activism, there's two ways that social change happens. One way is that things get so bad and things get so bad for a certain group of people that you cannot help but humanize them because you see so much suffering. And that's a part of the people who are working towards the betterment of African Americans now after seeing the murder of George Floyd. They see that and they're like, wow, that could have been my dad. Or that's human beings suffering senselessly, right? They were being killed and hurt for no reason. But then the other side of the coin of activism is that a group of people are so tired and have been dehumanized for so long that they're going to do violence, and that they will be conducting violence till change happens. We don't want it to get to that point. So I'm saying that this is probably the final chance for discourse.
Right.
This is probably the final chance for discourse. Beyond this, I don't know. Like, I can stand up because I'm all for peace. I can stand up, but people are only going to be pushed for so long, and it's been a long time. And I think it's been such a long time and so many consistent levels of violence that it's getting close to that point so much that all these people who haven't really been involved in the struggle for the betterment of African Americans are now getting involved. So I guess my advice to those who feel maybe apprehension behind speaking up or talking to their families who are so one-sided with this, on the wrong side, I'd say, of history, that they need to do something, you need to talk with them. Because yes, you may be fearful about having that conversation with your uncle, with your racist uncle, but if we don't have those conversations, what's even worse is having just anarchy and people just getting so angry and fed up that they conduct violence, which no one wants. And it hurts them. When they conduct violence, it hurts them, but it also hurts us. It hurts everyone. So we don't want that.
Right. And it's like I'm on this, I don't even know how to feel. I think I'm numb with it when I have, certain people reaching out to me, and like you're saying, the support I get, like, you can't, whoa, that is huge. I didn't know. And then you want to do this? And it's like, oh my gosh, like tear, I'm like, and then at the same time, I don't want to, so I'm not gonna hold like, I'm not gonna hold you, I'm not gonna make you feel better. I don't have that energy anymore because
Yeah.
this is life or death. Like,
Yeah.
and it can get really bad. And we are fighting we're just, I keep thinking of my kids and my family and my friends and people I know, and then the whole entire Black community, right? Then to say, well, oh, I really don't feel comfortable talking about that. Or I don't think it's my place to talk about that. Or I don't. So when I hear you're supporting me and I hear that at the same time, I'm like, but you're really not. Like, I don't, and I'm trying, it's hard for me. It's really hard for me.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. That's not really supporting.
Right.
Yeah. I've witnessed that as well. People are like, we're behind you, but
Mhm.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to get involved.
Right. Mhm.
Yeah.
What do you do
Yeah.
with that? Because I don't know what to do. I'm like, you're my friend. Okay, fine, that's you, because that's you. I can't fault you. I can't judge you for what you want to do. That's your life. However, at the same time, I feel a type of way when I hear something that just don't be both. I don't know.
I would tell people this. I would tell people this. Um, the reason why we're having the issues that we have today is because one day someone said a lie and no one corrected them. Someone was being beat up because of the color of their skin and being harassed, and a person walked by and who could have done something and they did nothing. That's why racism is around today. That's why it persists, is because those who are just stagnant don't move.
Mhm.
And if you move and you listen and you hear what's going on, if you really understand, and I said this before in the interview, if you really understand the African American experience, if you really understand it, there's no choice. You have to do something.
Right.
Now, me, like, like, people have said that I'm good with speaking on this subject.
Yeah.
Sure, great. But
Mhm.
I didn't feel that I was. I still had to do it. I still had to do it. Like, I'm not going to not do it.
Mhm.
It has to be done.
Right.
We are in the space right now that action must take place.
Mhm.
If you're not acting, you're part of the problem. You
Yes.
just are.
Speak on it. Exactly. Because I
I
have
just,
anxiety. I don't like speaking. This is nerve-wracking for me. I'm like, however, I have
yeah,
no
right.
choice. I have to do something. If one person can get something, then it's good, because then that can, spread. But there's no choice. If you want to see change, you've got to get uncomfortable for change
Yeah,
to happen. It's going to be challenging. So yeah, I encourage that. It's like, if you see someone doing something and you say nothing, it's like giving them the pass to continue on
yeah,
doing it because they're not being changed. Where there's some people, when it gets too difficult, they get off of social media. They don't turn on the news, so they can just, pretend like it doesn't exist. However, I can't do that. No matter what city I go to, no matter what lake or cabin or country I go visit, it's still prevalent no matter where I'm at. And so there are some
exactly.
people that can just, and those that just shut it out, they're not changing themselves because they're not seeing it or hearing it. They just block it out and continue on the way they are without being
Yeah.
challenged or corrected.
And if you can't do it, if you don't know anyone that's near and dear to you that you feel is being affected by racism, which is ridiculous. We're so multifaceted today. Of course, there's someone you know, but say you don't know. At least be a good role model for your children to
Right.
have to be able to make change in hopes that their generation will live a better life than ours.
Mhm.
So if you are making changes, you're talking about it in your home, other people are making changes, they hear that. Kids are sponges. They hear and listen to everything. And so they see, oh, my mom and my dad, they're involved in the struggle for African Americans.
Mhm.
Why? Why is this? Why are they doing that? And that starts intrigue. And when they get older, they'll realize that at this particular point in time in history, there was a struggle.
Mhm.
And an African American gentleman died, and it lit a spark that went around the world. And that when that happened, my parents were involved in the betterment of African Americans and made changes. And so when they get older, hopefully they'll be doing the same thing. Let's create a culture around helping folks.
Yes. Oh, yes. And they see and hear, like you were saying. So when you say one thing, but your actions show something else, that's also something you got to be mindful of, and how you treat people. So you say yes and X, Y, and Z, but then how your actions are towards people and how you feel. Because, and I think about it, like, I used to be afraid, like if there were a group of Black people, I would be so scared because, in Compton, you can't play on the street, you probably can't ride your bike, can't do certain things. So then it's like, oh, and then all these white people, like, oh, so it's like I can't be comfortable or safe anywhere. You see it, you walk across the street, you go the other way, don't start no shit, won't be no shit. But it's like, how did I learn that? Where did that come from? How come I was so afraid? So when we have to be mindful of what we are inadvertently teaching our children. When you hold your purse real tight when you walk past them, they notice that, they see that, they're going to pick that up. If you hold their hand a little bit tighter when someone just says hi, maybe that's a Black person says hi, and you hold them tight, you start walking fast, they're like, oh, so that's something that I need to be afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
Actions speak volumes. So but I never said that. I never taught them. You may not have said it, but you may have taught them some other kind of way.
Yes, implied through your actions, for sure. Yeah, there's so many subtle microaggressions when it comes to racism that it's when I was talking about racism being dismantled throughout time, how it's going to take a long time. It's so deep, and it's woven within the fabric of our society so deep and so strongly. I don't know. I'm definitely hopeful. And I feel like what's happening now is a step in the right direction. I hope we're ready for the long haul. I mean, we're obviously African Americans are, because we're directly affected by it.
Right.
But other folks,
you just think of like
we'll
applications
see.
And stuff, like checking male, female, Black. Why do we need that? Like people say, no, you can't be discriminated based on. So then why do you need to know? Some people, if they really feel that way, how can you prove that your application was thrown out because of anything else other than?
I'm saying.
So I thank you so very much for taking the time out to talk to me. It was so great. I got a lot from you. And if you can take one thing away from our conversation, either for yourself or for someone that's listening, what would you like them to pay particular attention to?
I would say this, and I usually say this, it's that if you have the ability to show love at any particular point in time, that you should do it. You're thinking about calling your mom, you haven't called in such a long time, call your mom, tell her that you love her. You have a son or daughter that you haven't told them that you love and care about them, do it. Because you never know when it could be your last chance, and it's just the right thing to do. It's never not the right thing to do, so.
Yeah, and my takeaway is to look deep inside yourself and see what is it that you're saying and doing, and do they align? Just check in with yourself.
That's huge. That's
yes.
huge.
All right, sir. Thank you so very much. And I will talk to you again soon, hopefully.
All right, KaTonya, I'll see you around.
All right.